from the Risale-i Nur collection, Zulfikar, Bediüzzaman, Said Nursi. After a 2-year examination of all the sections of the Risale-i Nur by the courts of Ankara and Denizli, together with their appointed experts, a unanimous decision was reached that we be acquitted and that all the sections of the Risale-i Nur be returned to me. Therefore, there remains no hindrance to their publication. One of the copies of the Risale-i Nur restored to me comprises the sections gathered in this volume. Said Nursi. This collection consists of 3 sections and a conclusion. The first section, the 10th word, the Treatise on Resurrection and its appendices. The second section, the 19th letter, the Treatise on the Miracles of Muhammad, peace be upon him, and its appendices. The third section, the 25th word, the Treatise on the Miracles of the Qur'an and its appendices. In its conclusion, there is Hizb-i Nuri, together with a letter concerning the Risale-i Nur. This strange age, just as the believers have intense need for the Risale-i Nur, so school teachers and students of science have great need for the staff of Moses, and teachers of religion and memorizers of the Qur'an are in great need of Zulfikar. For, in the Treatise on the Qur'an's miraculousness, for example, many verses that have been subject to questioning and objections are shown to contain flashes of miraculousness and many fine and subtle points. In the name of all the Risale-i Nur students, Said Nursi.
باسمه سبحانه وإن من شيء إلا يسبح بحمده السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته أبدا دائما.
In his name be he glorified, and there is nothing but it glorifies him with praise. Peace be upon you, and God's mercy and blessings, for ever and ever. My dear loyal brothers, now that the Risale-i Nur is being duplicated by machine and is spreading generally, and many school children and teachers who study modern science and philosophy are holding fast to it, there is a point that needs explanation: the philosophy. The Risale-i Nur strikes at fiercely and attacks is not philosophy in its entirety. Rather, it is only its harmful part. For the philosophy and wisdom that serve the life of human society, and morality and human attainments, and industry and progress, are reconciled with the Qur'an. Indeed, such philosophy serves the Qur'an's wisdom and does not oppose it. This sort the Risale-i Nur does not bother with. As for the other sort, since it both leads to misguidance, atheism, and the swamp of nature, and is the cause of vice, and dissipation, heedlessness, and misguidance, and since with its spellbinding wonders it opposes the Qur'an's miraculous truths, the Risale-i Nur attacks and deals, slaps at it with the powerful proofs in the comparisons contained in most of its parts. It does not attack beneficial, rightly guided philosophy. Members of the secular schools can therefore embrace the Risale-i Nur without hesitation or objection. But completely meaninglessly and unjustly, secret dissemblers are turning a number of hojas against the Risale-i Nur, which is the true property of all the people of the madrases, religious schools, and they similarly excite the scholarly pride of certain philosophers. It is possible they will do this to harm the Risale-i Nur, so it is appropriate to include this piece at the beginning of the collections. The staff of Moses and Zulfikar. Said Nursi.
باسمه سبحانه وإن من شيء إلا يسبح بحمده السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
In his name, Glory be to him. There is not a thing that does not glorify him with praise. Peace be upon you, and the mercy of God, and his blessings. My dear loyal brothers, firstly, now that the sphere of the Risale-i Nur has unquestionably expanded fully through mechanical reproduction, with a general awakening and with the appreciation of the competent authorities at the center, it is inevitable that scholars of every kind will examine it with care. Among them, those who favor innovations, those driven by egotism, and overly fastidious critics will attempt to raise objections. In response to them, you should present 3 fundamental principles as a general answer. The first principle: who among people today is without fault? Since faults are pardoned when good deeds outweigh evil ones, then under such severe conditions, and openly before all, this extraordinary service to belief, which has rescued hundreds of thousands of helpless people from doubts, is such a good deed that it outweighs and pardons thousands of shortcomings. The second principle: you should say, our brother Saeed is semi-literate, and his handwriting is deficient. He cannot write quickly. Having been compelled during these 20 years of exile to live mostly in seclusion and isolation, it is only natural that some lapses and faults should occur. Indeed, at the end of the Miracles of Muhammad, peace be upon him, which was composed without any appendix within only 12 hours over 2 or 3 days, he openly declared, "If there are errors in my exposition of the hadiths and their narrators, I request their correction." Despite this, apart from scribal lapses, up to the present only a single instance has been identified: that in 2 numbers, 16 and 61, the number 1 was inadvertently misplaced and the numbers were reversed, something an American missionary pointed out in the Gospel of John. Moreover, due to compelling circumstances, some treatises were written with extreme rapidity. Some were composed in 10 minutes, others in an hour, others in 6 hours. And with the confirmation of the scribes, even the Miracles of Qur'an, without any appendix, was written within 24 hours over the course of 3 or 4 days. Under such conditions, the occurrence of some lapses is inevitable and cannot in any way be considered a fault. Furthermore, since most of the copyists did not read Arabic, they too made mistakes, which were then attributed to the author. For it is impossible for him to see every copy or personally correct them all. Now that scholars and teachers are entering this circle, assisting in this great and beneficial task of correction becomes their duty. The third principle: the objectors and self-advertisers may say, and indeed they do say, there are many passages in the Risale-i Nur that speak of the wonders, extraordinary qualities, and great value of the treatises. If a person displays his own merit, it becomes ostentation and is unacceptable. When they criticize in this way, you should respond with the essence of the answer Said gave to the competent authorities in Ankara, an answer which they themselves accepted. Since this country and the Islamic world are deeply concerned with and in need of the truths which the Risale-i Nur strives to preserve, whereas the helpless author ought to have had thousands of helpers, scribes, and even official encouragement and support, instead, he faced utterly unjust propaganda and oppressive measures aimed at breaking the moral strength of his brothers. In the face of such conditions, it is both necessary and obligatory to set forth the value and the wonders of the Risale-i Nur. For a single, powerless individual with the intention of preventing his weak companions from fleeing in the face of the material assaults of thousands of oppressors, to manifest the divine bestowals and lordly succor he has received, this is not a fault at all, but rather a great and vital necessity. Saeed Nursi. This collection is a vast garden, Not everyone can obtain every fruit or resolve every matter within it. Whatever one understands is a gain. Everyone can benefit fully from the opening sections, while the latter half yields complete benefit to the learned scholars. Do not give up because you cannot grasp it all at once. Read it again with repetition. Sayyid Nursi.